And then to my left here directly, Jake Malishkevich. Some of you might have been introduced to Jake through a podcast episode that we did. And I'll just read a part of his bio. In 2006, Jake joined Axis Group under the guidance of the company owner, Joel Gross. He learned all about the promotional products industry. After realizing the industry was veering online, Jake convinced Joel to give him a small investment to start what we now know as Promo Dealer. Jake borrowed a book on HTML coding from a friend, brought in $10,000 on the first day the website was live. Within 2 years, Promo Dealer was generating over $5 million. In 2008, he graduated from DePaul with a degree in marketing. I'm glad you finished that degree. You needed some help with
Definitely.
In the past 11 years, Promo Dealer has grown from 1 employee to 15, caters to clients such as Jack Link's, Warner Brothers, Miller's, Coors, and many, many more. So guys, welcome. I think we're curious to get into this as quickly as we can. So how significant is your online advertising budget? Can you care to share the number?
Yeah, so I don't know, I'm sure everyone can hear me. So our 2017 was about 400,000 annual spend.
Do you have a suggestion? Now, sorry, remind everybody your gross sales revenue again. Do you talk about that? Is that probably?
Yeah, we don't. Gross sales in 2017 was right around 6 million.
Okay. Do you have a suggested percentage of revenue or profit you suggest businesses should use to determine how much to spend? Is there a magic metric?
Okay, so if you, when it comes to advertising and advertising spend, this is like the #1 Googled issue, period. Like, these are our revenues, how much do I spend in advertising? And there is absolutely no answer to it. There's no magic formula, and more importantly, you can't look at advertising spend. Tell me when I'm going too long.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You can't look at advertising spend in a vacuum. You have to look at any investment you make as a competitor to a different investment that you would make. And so if you spend $1 in something, you can't say, well, I'll be $1 richer if I don't spend it. You have to say, if I spent that dollar elsewhere, what kind of ROI would you get? And so when you look at your overall revenue, you can't have a specific percentage because some people are happy with a 10% return on their dollar in this particular investment. Others would be happy with 20%. My personal feeling would be I would like, give or take, big give or take here, $10 return on every $1 spent, I think is a very fair estimate.
Okay. How has ad spending changed from when you first started to now? And to be more specific, where are you putting your investment now versus then?
Okay, so our ad spend has changed greatly, and not because advertising has changed or pay-per-click has changed or Google has changed. Our spend has changed because the product has changed and the industry has changed and the client expectations have changed. And so we started off by advertising flash drives that had, 70% margins 10 years ago because we were directly importing them. And so we double, triple down on that spend, and we're easily able to, first off, spend incredibly foolishly. So no one on this planet is going to jump into pay-per-click and not spend foolishly. You will. But when you have margins that are that high, you afford yourself the ability to spend foolishly. And because of that, we were able to just, I don't know, I think our first 2 years, we got up to like 700,000 in spend or something. I mean, it was stupid numbers. And so what has actually changed isn't the spend, and it isn't the way that AdWords runs. Of course, they're going to make updates and so on. What has changed is our product, our market, our process, our client journey. That has changed.
Let me bring this down a little bit. How did you receive the last order gained by only advertising online?
Okay, so the original question there, if I can expose it, we had talked about some of these questions were going to be asked, and the original question there was, what was the last huge order that you received?
I'm the sales guy.
Okay,
I'm like, tell me the big order that you got for nothing.
Awesome question, but it can be wildly misleading. The way we run our spend is not completely surface level. So the answer to that is right at mid-December 2017, we got what amounts to about a 6-figure order from an online customer that we received through pay-per-click close to 3 years ago. So the reason that the answer can be misleading is because we did not, on the front end, pay for this order. This order was free. This order cost us nothing. But because the customer journey was good enough, and just so everyone knows, that order started with like $1,000. There was like $1,000 order 3 years ago, and the customer journey was, in my opinion, excellent. The relationship built was excellent, and we were able to work up that account to a 6-figure. It was a great order.
So that really answers how did you get your biggest orders with online advertising. You kind of covered that there. So, okay, so in what order? AdWords, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
So for us personally, and because we're so good at it, because we have the history of doing it, AdWords is always going to come first because they are going to immediately drive traffic to your company. Regardless of what keywords you're targeting, regardless of what clients you're going after, how your landing page, how your website looks, they will drive traffic. So AdWords to us, because we can clear up our process so quickly and easily, is going to be number one. I recommend if anyone wants to jump into spending dollars, they go into AdWords as their first option. I would say secondly would be Instagram. Instagram is much more internal. You're an excellent sample of someone who puts out really great content. And Instagram and Facebook is going to be an unbelievable medium if you have unbelievable content. And so you can, if anyone's spent a little bit on Instagram or Facebook, you can promote that content, but promoting shit content is going to get you shit results. And so they're all unbelievably important. I think LinkedIn as a recruiting tool is above all. I mean, they're incredible. So there's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish, and here's the best medium for that.
Best tips on advertising with AdWords.
So for us, I would say that there's a lot of tips on advertising. The number one thing I would say is do not spend money you cannot afford. Test. AdWords does not want you to go out of business. A lot of people think they do, but they don't. They don't want all your money. They don't want you to put it to mortgage your company or your home because you're certain that this one item is going to work and you're going to throw it on AdWords and it's going to be. My best piece of information would be find your most important KPIs, your key performance indicators. Double down on those. Study the hell out of those. Spend $10. Spend $20. Spend $100. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to realize that your idea isn't going to work.
Best tips to advertising on Facebook and Instagram.
Content, 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 content. So you're going to work with the same numbers. Like you're still going to have the impression costs and the conversion costs and the click costs. And you're still going to have to develop customer journeys and landing pages. And I'm sure we'll get into those. But put out some incredible content. A lot of people, especially at this event, do it unbelievably well. Copy them, because that's what we do. That's the truth.
Right.
Like, we repost. A lot of people that come here, we repost their content, because it is that good.
Yeah. What about the objection that AdWords leads to simple transactional clients and not relational clients that are stick around?
Okay, so this is a really fun topic to talk about because everyone thinks the same thing. Like, I'm going to build this website, and then I'm going to throw AdWords on there. Oh, well, what happened to me was the client came, and then they bought once, and it was a crap order. I never talked to them again. Or the client came, asked me for a price, and left. Or the client came, and we haggled. I lost the order because I was too expensive. AdWords' job is not to close business. AdWords' job is not to build your website. It's not to teach your salespeople. It's not to develop relationships. AdWords is a funnel that will get people to your website. What happens after that is solely on you and the client journey and the internal processes that you have in place to continue to close accounts. So we personally, you cannot, if anyone's been to our website, you cannot check out. You can't buy anything. You just can't. You've got to inquire. And so what that does is I force interaction between a new potential and our internal account coordinators. And we have it set up where account coordinators are the only ones who get the leads. So our process is set up in a way that the client will be forced to have interaction.
Okay.
Just will.
Last 3 questions.
Yeah.
Which KPIs do you typically focus on when reviewing your advertising spend? What are the 3 or 4 most important metrics?
Okay, so my most important and favorite are going to come, because some people might not agree with me, but I think to me, and in no particular order, by the way, but cost per conversion is going to be the single most important metric that we have. Nothing else matters unless that conversion cost is where your numbers at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, if they don't mesh, if those conversion costs are too high and the business is too expensive to get, then the cost per clicks don't matter, cost per impressions don't matter, the ad clicks don't matter, nothing matters. So to me, cost per conversions are going to be the highest, and this is AdWords. Return business, so client reorder rate is wildly important to us because we decided not to have a transactional business. We want that relationship business. I don't care if that first order is $50,000 or $500. I want that reorder. It's the only thing that matters to us. I should say that should be like number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's how important that is. And another important KPI is, I would say cost per click is going to be an important KPI because there's so many things that could affect that you can easily change to bring that down, which will then actually bring your cost per conversion down.
Okay, let me skip to a last question
Yep,
so we get audience questions.
Yep.
If someone says, we've never invested in online spending in the past, but we're excited to try it, what would be the first thing you recommend? What are the baby steps? What are the next steps?
Yeah, so the first thing I would do is forget about advertising and focus on that journey and make sure that when you get the results that you set out to get in advertising, you're able to convert those clients to get you the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year goals. So I would say spend very little, do a shit ton of testing because it's so easy and it's so cheap and it's so fast to test, and instead focus on building those amazing landing pages and high conversion pages and training people so when someone does call, what are they going to say?
We didn't even hardly touch landing pages, and that is absolutely critical, right? Can you comment on that?
Unbelievably critical. So it's landing pages, just so everyone knows, it's the first thing the client sees in their journey after they click on your ad, after they're intrigued enough to actually look at you as a company. Where do they land? 90 whatever percent, I made that up, whatever number that is, land on your homepage. That is not a high converting page for most companies.
Yeah.
You need to land on a page that's going to be high converting. You take that back to your cost per conversions. Investing in landing, which by the way, guys, if you Google a few things, there's so many landing page builders out there now, right? I mean, there's so many that they're so cheap. Most of them will give you some free subscriptions. So I would develop some really kick-ass landing pages where clients are going to want to call, they're going to want to inquire, they're going to want to put in their information. So you can really start to see some of these.
Is there a key hook or two with these landing pages?
For us, you have to make it super simple, super clean. Don't put too much information on there. Start with one product and not a service. Not we are the greatest promotional company out there, but all our t-shirts are 99 cents. And really make them 99 cents. You cannot lie to the client, but like looking for t-shirts, all of ours are $2 or whatever that sinker is that the client's going to be. At the minimum, they're going to be intrigued and they're going to want more information.
Do you use content or anything like that on your landing pages as a
so
pull?
the few times that we tried content and like videos or whatever,
Right.
it didn't register with our clients quickly enough for them to convert. So we noticed the clients were spending more time on the landing pages, but less clients were converting.
Okay.
And so I read an article somewhere that every new prospect spends about 7 seconds deciding whether they're going to do business with that company or not. I can't make a 7-second video. I can't give enough content in there to make a client convert.
Yeah, okay. Questions? Company stores or advertising online? Yes, sir.
Question to you, Jake. Do you make your 400,000 do you outsource the company percentages that came in, or do you
guys hear that okay back there? Question is outsource or in-house?
So the question was asked, what was your name? Sorry. Steve. So the question Steve asked was, with our spend, do we outsource to an advertising company or do we bring it in-house? And if we outsource, which we do, how much do we pay them? So I'll try to be really brief on it. Someone else earlier up here said that, like, if I were to start another business, it'd be like one of these advertising or SEO companies because they're all so full of shit. It's unbelievable. And they all like make up the percentages that they take and so on. So we had to try and fail like probably 20 times before I found a fit. And we've always outsourced it, just so you know. And I've hired like 3 or 4 interns at 3 or 4 different times to try and kind of manage that. But number one, no one's going to know your business better than you are. Number two, we outsource it for that reason, is I oversee what they're spending on. We pay them 10% because our spend is so high. So it's not unreasonable to pay 15 or 20% if you like the company. Make sure they're spending time on your account. None of them ever do. All of them say that they do. It's total BS. But in the end, you're the one who, is in charge of that account. The company that we use is called WordStream. I would totally recommend them to anybody. They will start you off with a platform, an automated management solution that you yourself can run with their automated recommendations. I would definitely recommend to try them. Minimal spend. I don't know what they charge, maybe $100 a month or something. We've now taken them to a point where they have a dedicated account manager for us. Costs us a few $1,000s a month, but it's worth it because that account manager is maybe the best in the business.
Other questions? We have like 4 minutes left. Yes, sir.
I would spend on Journey. I would spend on landing pages. I would spend on training. The least of my spend would be on AdWords. That would be the first place. If I were to go to an advertising solution, it would be AdWords. But I would spend on literally everything to make sure that I close that damn account when they call me before I ever put any money into advertising. It's the truth.